Hi friends. Oh, it's really good to see you guys today. It really is. I am Melissa, and I am a grieving mother. And today I thought I'd come out here. It's a beautiful day here, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? Shoot, I'm coming out here and I'm gonna chillax at the cemetery and do a video. Why not? Bear with me. Sun's kind of in my eye, so I might have to put my sunglasses on, but thank you for joining with me today, you guys. And welcome to my cemetery. It's like a home away from home, which I never imagined ever in my wildest fucking dreams that I would ever feel comfortable at a place like this. But today continuing on talking about teenage grief, you know, and we still have 2 teenagers at home who deal with grief. And so, yeah. And I was kind of going backwards in our grief and talking about, you know, the beginning stages of our grief. And I wanted to talk about denial with teenagers. They go through denial just as much as we adults do in grief. And I've watched our 2 teenagers experience and walk through denial. Yeah. And they tell themselves, I'm good, I'm okay, really. But they're not, you know. And in my last video, I talked about beginning this journey into the grieving teenager's heart, you know. And so we are just beginning, friends. This is just the beginning. So bear with me, you know, with my notes for my grief brain and the noises outside here a little bit. But, you know, our 2 teenagers, we have a son and a daughter, and their initial response to our heavy loss was shock. Their heart has been hit, you know, they're stunned and they wonder what the fuck happened. You know, then their minds begin to grapple with the situation. Their Noah and Sophia was just here, and so was their big brother Malik. But now they're gone. So I know they tell themselves, this can't be real. This can't be real. My older brother did not kill my younger brother and sister. You know? And so I was kind of asking them a few things that go on inside their minds. And then there was, in my grief journal, it had a topic about teenagers. And it had some quotes in there from anonymous grieving teenagers. So just like with my last video and this one too, you know, they're not my thoughts. These are just some of the random thoughts that go through the teenager's mind, the grieving teen's heart. And one of them was, several of them are things like, you know, I still don't believe it. How can this be real? Everyone's saying you're dead, but I just can't seem to get it. I don't want to get it. And if I refuse to believe it, maybe it won't be true after all. Maybe I can stop this or reverse it somehow. I want you here, still here, now. You know, people ask, the teenagers, people ask how I'm doing. I smile and say, I'm okay. I'm anything but okay. But what am I supposed to say? How am I doing? I don't know. You're dead. How should I be doing? Other questions and thoughts in their teenager's mind, they say, I'm not okay. I'm not fine. This hurts, but I can't seem to feel the pain yet. I know my heart is breaking. I can feel it slowly coming apart. It's like some hole is opening up under me and I'm falling, falling, falling. I close my eyes. Come on, get a grip, breathe, be strong. Strong? What's that? No, this didn't happen. This can't have happened. You're not dead. I can see your face clearly in my mind. You're real. You're alive. I can hear your voice. I swear, yes, I swear I can hear your voice. I'm going to close my eyes and you're going to be there. Please. Nothing. I close my eyes again. I'm not ready for this. Everyone is talking about you guys. Everybody looks sad. Many are crying. I feel like a robot. You're dead? You must be. You're not here. You should be here. Another thought that some teenagers had is, I've seen your body. I nearly threw up. You, but not you. I kept expecting you to open your eyes, sit up and announce that this was all a sick joke. You just laid there. You were cold, so cold. No, that wasn't you. That was some dead thing. You're alive. Somewhere. You have to be. And sooner or later, you're going to walk through the door smiling. You can't be dead. Can't I just believe you're alive? And if I believe strongly enough, who knows? I close my eyes, but I can't get that image out of my head. I wish I hadn't seen your bodies. No, I will not believe it. Yeah, that feels better. You're alive. Somehow, somewhere. Oh, friends, denial is a natural response to loss. It is. I'll always deny what I'm not prepared to accept. Anybody else feel that way? You know, death, separation, pain, they come, right? They come into our lives. You know, they bombard our lives, invade our lives, and it's a very unwelcome visitor. You know, we don't expect it and we surely don't want it, right? Our world has been upended. Our hearts have been hit. Our souls shake. I didn't even know what a shaking soul could be until we buried Noah and Sophia. And then my soul rattles and shakes some more when my mother died. And when I look at her urn, it's like I can literally feel my soul shaking. Can anybody else relate to these things? Maybe not if you haven't had to bury your children, right? Yeah. Awful loss. We deny what we are not prepared to accept. We do, friends. We do. You know, denial is a natural response to death and loss too, you know, and we can probably see that in our own lives too, you know, really. Maybe you don't need to have to experience death to be able to relate that we deny what we're not prepared to accept, you know, can kind of deny what's happening and what's going on, you know. You know, you guys, it's been 4 years, friends, 4 years, almost 4.5. And yes, some days I don't even know where to begin. And other days have more rays of hope in them. You know, I know acceptance takes time and it has to occur on many levels, you know, and it's usually in small increments along the way. You know, you think about it, just like these small increments of adjustments along the way, especially with death and the loss of our 2 youngest children, you know. So we typically stay in denial about the deeper, more personal aspects of the loss, the things that our hearts for many reasons have a difficult time grappling with, much less accepting. So yeah, burying your children, you know, we will typically stay in denial about that deeper aspect of that loss. You know, we can barely grapple with it. I can barely come to terms with it, let alone accept it, right? So, you know, how my teenagers feel the same way. You know, and it's very difficult for them to accept that they no longer have 3 other siblings. It's just the 2 of them now. When we had 5 children, 5 and now 2. Our hearts and our minds, they attempt to keep Noah and Sophia alive somehow, some way. We do, whether we're talking to them, coming out here to the cemetery, decorating the grave, talking about them at home, keeping pictures up, some of their toys out, stuffed animals out, blankets out. Yeah. You know, the teen years are often volatile and tough enough to navigate, even without a death or a major loss. You know, like I was talking about in my other video, reminiscent about our teenage years, you know, and how volatile they were for us. So, you know, a teen losing someone they love and care about is like pouring lighter fluid on an already raging fire, right? Or like throwing a grenade into an ammunition dump. Like, you really got to think about those pictures, right? The fire already raging, and let's just go ahead and pour some lighter fluid on it. Yeah. That's what it's like for these teenagers that have lost their brother and sister to a traumatic, awful death. You know, teens are consistently monitoring their environment, struggling to discover who they are and trying to fit in and make their way, right? All the while dealing with raging hormones that can seem to hijack them at a moment's notice. If you guys have teenagers, you know what I'm talking about. 1 minute, my 16-year-old daughter is A-okay and bubbly and jumpity and blah, 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 blah. And the next minute, zoop, not a single word, face all, you know, or crying, or just, and she'll even say it. I mean, she's verbal about it. She'll say, I don't even know what's wrong with me. I don't even know what's going on. Like, there was nothing that happened to make me feel, I just feel anxious. I feel high strung. I feel fearful. I feel nervous, agitated. Yeah, those are what she'll say to me, you know? And yes, oh yes, friends, these teenage years, they can be fun. I mean, we have some great memories of our teenage years too, right? Maybe, but they're also a scary time, you know? And it's definitely full of stress, uncertainty, and fear. Dread, right? Anxiety. Oh my. But once again, like I said before in my previous videos, and I believe it, we're wired for a relationship. So our lives are fundamentally about connections with other people. They are. Really, if you just ponder it, you know? It's kind of what our lives are fundamentally about, our connections with other people. You know? And so a teen's identity is deeply tied to those around them. Family, friends, classmates, church friends, etc., right? So a death during these teenagers' years, it's like being hit by a bus. You know, to have to experience a traumatic death in their teenage years. They're stunned and shocked. And they're lying in the middle of the road, staring up at the sky, wondering what the fuck just happened to me. Even 4.5 years later, we still look at each other with that stunned look and still wonder what the fuck just happened to me. You know? And then like when these teenagers, it's like, and then when they come to and they begin to see the reality of what has occurred, it's just often too much, friends. Too much. You know? They can't accept it. Yeah. Denial is natural. It is to be expected. And as I have experienced in these 4.5 years, I think it's even healthy too. You know, let me try to explain, you know, denial is the heart protecting itself against the threat of irreversible damage. And God is in charge of our hearts, man. And it's like this denial, you know, the He created all these emotions and they have purposes and it's interesting now, denial, I guess just like with any emotion, used in the wrong way or too much of it's not a good thing, right? But denial also allows the teenage heart to slowly digest unwelcome traumatic situations. That's what I've experienced watching my teenagers these last 4.5 years. And with myself too, seriously. Like, it is too much information to process and digest at once. You know, my oldest son stabbed Noah and Sophia to death while they are sleeping. Stabbed his father in the neck, my husband. It's too much to digest at once, friends. It's too much to process at once. It's too traumatic and very unnatural. My family, we got to do one small bite at a time. We do, yeah. Yes, denial can be a good thing. It can, you know, and as time goes on, the teen, they will begin to adjust, process, accept pieces of the death, you know, that they've suffered. But really, truly, most likely, they will go in and out of denial over the deeper, more permanent aspects of the death, I think. You know, the permanent aspect that Noah and Sophia are gone, and Malik is in prison for 96 years. 96-year sentence for second-degree murder. Yeah, praise God, Malik pled guilty, and we didn't have to have a trial. You know, personally, I think we're all in denial about something. Personally, you know, so our hearts simply can't handle all the realities of life at one time. At any given moment, we'll deny what we're not prepared to accept. Yeah, let me remind you what the Lord reminded me. You can make a difference. I can make a difference. You know, let me just share with you lastly these 3 things that I think probably would be helpful. I just wanted to encourage you in these 3 things here for just to sum up, you know, with your teenager and number 1, remember, just know that denial is a natural and even healthy response to a traumatic loss. Okay? And again, the goal is simple. And God showed me this. Melissa, the goal is simple. Love them. Yeah. That's what Christ does with me. He just loves me. Christ meets me where I'm at and he loves me. So he said, you meet your teenagers where they are. Meet them where they are. Know that they will go in and out of denial over days, weeks, months, and even years. You know, the Lord is in charge of that process with them. That's not my place to be in charge of that process, as much as I may want to. I'm wise enough to know I don't belong in charge of that process. And personally, as I talk it out loud, I don't want it. Yeah, it's above my pay grade. I just need to be aware that their hearts at times will need to be in denial about some aspects of losing Noah and Sophia, and even Malik, simply because feeling the full brunt of it would be catastrophic for them. And I damn sure don't want that. I damn sure don't want them sinking and falling and collapsing under the heavy burden of this in life enough as it is that they already are. Number 2, remember that they're hurting badly. And that can be difficult for me to remember in my own grief. I mean, grief is very selfish. Grief is very, very selfish, and it is very hard. I mean, I have to consciously remember I am not the only hurting person in my house, even though at times I'll feel like my hurt is the worst, mine's the deepest. But my teenagers are hurting badly too. Okay, and it's okay for them to hurt. I can't fix this. I can't rescue them. I can't make this better. how would I make this any better? You know? But I can love them. I can show up in whatever way is appropriate and fits my relationship with them. You know? Again, our presence is the most powerful gift we can give. It is, friends. It is. And thirdly, be ready to listen. This one, I'm preaching to the choir on this one. Oh my. Because I know if you were to pull my teenagers to the side and ask, how well does your mom listen? Is your mom a good listener? They'd probably say, half the time, maybe 40% of the time. You know, I need to be ready to listen and listen and listen some more. I can be there, ready to listen if they want to talk, share, or vent. Okay? And I have to resist the temptation to fill the air with words and advice. Oh my goodness. This is, if you can't tell, I'm a talker. So I definitely have to resist the temptation to fill the air with words and advice. Don't correct them. Don't try to pull them out of denial, especially during the early stages. That seems cruel, you know? I mean, seriously, they know their brother and sister are gone. Seriously, it's not a matter of they're literally setting the place at the table for them and those kinds of unreality, hallucination kinds of things, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole different kind of thing, you know? But I just need to be with them where they are. You know, their hearts are trying to make sense of the unthinkable. Their hearts are trying to make sense of this. More than anything, they need acceptance and understanding. My teens do. So I need to be ready to listen. Their wounded hearts need me. Their wounded hearts need their father. Your teen's wounded heart needs you. You can make a difference. You know, denial is natural and it can be healthy and even good. So just remember, we just want to meet them where they are and love them there. Okay? And remember, we will deny what we are not prepared to accept. Yeah, my teens are hurting and I need to be prepared to listen, and then listen some more. Yeah. And so I just want to encourage you in that as well. That, you know, denial, if you see your teen, and it's a natural response to loss. Shocked, stunned, denial. Well, friends, I better run. It was really good sharing my heart with you today, friends, and I want you to be well today and be blessed. And I will see you on my next video.